I want to talk to you this morning about something the Lord gave me. He gave me this morning. This isn't morning. I'm at almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, but He gave it to me early this morning to tell me to read Isaiah 13 and 14. That they both had to do with right now. And we've got many scriptures that pertain to what's going on today. Joel 2 is one of them. We've got a lot of scriptures go back and forth. But I want to explain something to you that I think a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of people that do, but a lot of people don't understand. In Revelations, the first chapter, it says in the first verse, it says, that which is, that which was, and that's which will come. Talking about that behind you, where you're at, and what will be. Then again, in the eighth chapter, in the 8th verse of the same chapter 1 in Revelation, it says, which is, which was, and which is to come. Why did you say that 2 times in the first chapter? Wait a minute. And in the 19th chapter, it says, thou hast seen the things which are, and the things which shall be, and hereafter. 3 times in the first chapter, he says that. That was, that is, and that which is to come. What's he trying to say? It's not in sequence. The Bible isn't in sequence. The events aren't in sequence. And they won't be in sequence when they come down the line. He's trying to get you to an understanding that it's revelation knowledge you have to come to in God. You can't study the Bible and figure it out. It's only by revelation that you get it. And these theologians, they go through and they study all this stuff and everything else, and they put it in, bam, 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 A, B, C, D, key 1, key 2, key 3. Anyway, so when you're making a study of the Bible, sometimes it says that which will be and which was and which is coming. Sometimes that hits several times throughout history. And it may take a little different slant each time. In Proverbs, it says that which was will be again. So now I want to turn to Isaiah 13. And listen what's being said, and then you read it for yourself. Because I believe that the Lord gave me this morning and told me this is now. This is what's taking place now. And this will be the whole thing through. It says, and the burden of Babylon, we know Babylon means confusion, right? The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift up thy banner unto the high mountains. High mountains are kingdoms. Mountains in the Bible means kingdom. Lift up thy banner on the kingdoms. Exalt thy voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go unto the gates of the nobles. The prophets are to go unto the gates of the leaders of the kingdoms. You understand that? It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. What's a sanctified one? One that's set apart in God. Holiness churches preach about sanctification. Some of the other churches don't preach it. I was brought up in a holiness church, and Nazarene church, and that's what they taught, that you can be sanctified. I asked the Lord when I was 6 years old if I could be sanctified. And God from time to time set me apart, and now He's set me apart completely. That's what it means, sanctified, to be set apart in God. And it says, I have commanded my sanctified ones, and I have called my mighty one. The mighty valor, David had the mighty men of valor. Although we see the Bible, you see the mighty men of valor. These were physical men that can do physical things. That isn't what we're dealing with now. The mighty ones, I believe in God now, are the intercessors, the ones that he's called to intercede and fight this battle. We're fighting this battle in the spirit now, not in the flesh. It is in the flesh that it affects us, but it's in the spirit that we're fighting it. And then mighty ones that God is calling at this time, I believe, is intercessors that he's calling to move in this thing. And as the prophets bring through these forward things, so the intercessors pick it up and go with it and march with it. The sanctified ones do the same. And he says, the mighty ones, for my anger, and even them that rejoice in my highness. Them that reach out for the highest part of God, the holiest part of God, the righteous part of God. He's calling them to what? To speak out of their inner being the things that need to be. You see, we're in a spiritual war. We're in a spiritual war against Satan. We're in a spiritual war against evil men of the world. We're in a spiritual war against men in this nation that want to take it over and use their power and their money to do whatever they want to do, not for the people, but for themselves. And so now he's calling, God's calling his church to come alive and to do his bidding. The noise of the multitudes in the mountains and the kingdoms, like as a great people, a tremendous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, the Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. This is going to be flooded with God's people. I mean, he's bringing them from everywhere. He's pulling me out of a rock to bring me out under a rock. I've been quiet all my life mostly. And he's been telling me for years that I'm going to be in this movement. I didn't understand it, but now I do. He's pulling us all out of a rock that he's been saving for this end time, plus the ones coming up, plus the ones that are going to be converted. They're all coming on the world. World, look out. Anyway, he's coming. And they come from far countries and from the ends of the heaven, and even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. What does it mean to destroy? To judge. It's a time of judgment. But let me explain something there too. God isn't coming down with a hammer now and going to destroy. He is. But you got to remember something. God is for life, and he don't appoint death. You receive death because you planted the seed of death. He put in motion at the very beginning seed faith. And whatever seed you plant is what harvest you're going to get. It isn't so much that he's saying now you're going to be judged. Your judgment is coming now because harvest time is now. It's not so much God pointing at you and saying, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to send you to prison. He's saying harvest time. What does it say in Galatians? It says that let God not be marked, but seed, faith, and harvest will always be. You will receive whatever seed you plant. Not seed, faith, but seed that you plant. Harvest and seed will always be. And so them people that planted this seed, they'll reap the harvest. And that's what he's talking about here. That's what he's talking about. It says, how ye of the days of the Lord is at hand, and shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Harvest time. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid. Pagans and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain like a woman that is in travail. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, both cruel and wrath and furious anger, and lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. He takes sinners out? No, they're being judged for the seed that they planted. This is the time of judgment. For the stars of heaven and the continents thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened, and his going forth, and the moon shall not cease from her, cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their indignation, and I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughty of the terrible. These people are coming down. These people that want a one world government and have brought all this stuff about so they can take charge. They've killed thousands of people through the virus. They've killed people, locking them up. They've stole their money. They're cut off their oil and their gas, and all this stuff is going on by wicked people that cause this thing to take place. You understand that? These are wicked people that cause that. Wicked people in the United States is causing that. The wicked president we have now is causing that. The Congress and the Senate, them people that are doing what they're doing to us, and taking money and spending money on things that shouldn't be because they're grabbing most of it. This is the judgment that's coming. This is what they're reaping. They're reaping it. And it says they shall be faint. They're seeing it coming now. It's starting to fall. The bricks are starting to fall. The Lord told me here a while back, if you read some of my prophecy, he said when the bricks begin to fall, watch, because all of a sudden they'll come down. It'll just break. It'll come down. And it's going to come down on them. And it says, well, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wafer of Ophir. That's his church. He's going to purify us. We're going to walk in purification in the church. And you can look for Zion at the same time. You can look for Zion, the church, to become stronger and stronger and stronger. At the same time that this harvest and seed time and what they planted they're going to be judged for is going to come down. Therefore I will shake the heavens and the earth and remove them out of their place, and the wrath of the Lord of hosts in that day of the furious anger. We're having earthquakes. We're having just Vegas just flooded with water. We're having some of the craziest weather there is, and it has nothing to do with global warming. It has to do with sin. It has to do with sin. It has to do with God shaking this thing up. And it shall be as a chase roe and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee unto his own land. These guys are going to flee to one another. They're going to run to their own people, and there isn't going to be no help there. They're going to flee to their own land, their own thing that they created, and there won't be any help for them. For everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined with them shall fall by the sword. You understand that? Everyone that is joined with them, not only they, the leaders of this thing, but everybody that knows did what they were doing. Everybody that sat back and allowed it to happen, they're going to be judged with it. If you knew what was going on, you said nothing, you can be judged with it. So it's not only those that are in power and in leadership, making money in power and have the power of the authority, but it's going to be those that knew that did nothing. It's pretty powerful, pretty powerful. And everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined with them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed in pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives shall be ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, and they shall not regard silver or gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows shall also dash the young men in pieces, and they shall have pity on the fruit. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. He's talking about the judges and the people that are going to judge these people. These people are responsible for millions of people dying. They're responsible for people going broke. They're responsible for people starving to death because there's a lack of food, shortage of food that they caused to take place so they can have power. And now those that are going to judge them aren't going to have no pity on them whatsoever. They aren't going to have any pity on their children, on any part of them. They say, well, how can that be? How can that be? What happened in Daniel's time when they took Daniel out of the den of lions? What happened? Them people that threw him in there, them people that were responsible for that, they threw them in there. They threw their wives in there. They threw their children and anybody that was related to them. You understand what goes around comes around? That old saying? That's right. That's why it says that was, that is, and that will be. Now this scripture isn't only for this time. This scripture is for another time. But when it talks about the stars falling out of heaven, the continents and all that, it's simply saying this is a dark time in time. This is a time, there's darkness in the spirit. This is a realm of that time that nothing's shining on people. Nothing's shining, nothing's bright, nothing's going on. People are in confusion, that state of confusion. That's what that's referring to. This is also going to be another time. But that which is, that which was, and that which will be. You understand that? It says, and Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chidonians, the excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Did you know the Chidonians in Isaiah 23:13, it says was founded? Was founded by the Assyrians. The religion was founded by this. It was made up by the Assyrians. And people have followed it for 1,000 years. That's what it says in Isaiah 23:13. Look it up. It was founded by the Assyrians. Now, in this time, it's going to be thrown down. The beauty of the Chidonians' excellencies shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, burned it up, got rid of it. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabs pitch a tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of dreadful creatures. And owls shall dwell there, and cetrons shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the isles shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons in their palaces, in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Judgment is upon them. Now we go into the 14th chapter. God told me to break down both of these. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob the flesh, and will yet choose Israel, the chosen. That isn't only speaking about Israel. It's speaking about the chosen. When you read what is it in Romans 9, I believe, it talks about the chosen in there and how the Gentiles are also part of that elect. Let's see. And the stranger shall be joined to them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. The strangers. So this is the time of revival. This is the time of change for the world. And this is the time people will seek God because of the confusion and everything. And the people shall take them and bring them into their places, into their houses, and Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and for handmaidens, and they shall take them captives. Those captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Well, captives, there's places that talks about God brings his into captivity. And Paul says, I'm a prisoner of Jesus Christ. That's the captives he's talking about. When you convert a man into they're captive. They're your captive. And it shall come to pass in a day that the Lord shall give thee rest from the sorrows and from the fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Them that are brought to the houses of Israel, and the houses of Jacob, the flesh and the elect, they're going to be set free. That thou shalt take up the proverbs against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased, and the golden city ceased? And the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He's broken their staff. They're coming down, all of them. He who smote the people with wrath, with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, and persecuted and non-hindereth. The whole earth is at rest. It's come that time. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth unto singing. This is what's coming after the judgment. Yea, the fir tree rejoice in thee, and the cedar in Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fuller is come up against me. They don't need to be washed clean, they are clean. God has converted them. Hell hath beneath and moved, hell from beneath is moved, and thee to meet thee at thy coming, a stirring up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from the throne all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy compass is brought down to the grave, and thy noise of the vow. The worm is spread under thee, and thy worm covers thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which doeth weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will sit upon the mount of the congregation of the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Yet thou hast brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. This is what's happening now. Satan ain't going to have no power over you. He ain't going to have no power. We're going to walk in the power. God gave us authority over the earth, not Satan. We have the authority over the earth. And then he tells in verse 7 and 8 that we're going to rejoice and we're going to be the ones ruling. We're going to be doing that. And then he takes a look at Satan, and Satan said, no, I'm taking it over. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And he said, no, you're going into the pit. You're heading into the pit at this hour. No, you don't have the power now. My people have the power. And I will ascend above on high. Let me see. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, this is the man that made earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms. Is he calling Satan a man? No. What is he saying there? He's saying this guy's like a man. He don't have any. He's like a unconverted man. He don't have the power that a born again man has. He don't have the authority of Jesus Christ in him. This guy's less than just a normal man on earth. He has no power whatsoever. And that's the way we're going to be looking at him. That made the worlds, the wonders, and destroyed the cities thereof. That opened not the house of the prison for the prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast down to the grave, like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. That's what Satan does, a carcass trodden in foot. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed the land and slain the people, and the seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for the children of the iniquity and their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the earth with cities. They that follow Satan won't regain their status during this time. For I will raise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and their remnant, and the sons and their nephews. And the Lord said, cut off from Babylon, confusion. I will cut off the sons and the nephews, everything that's related to Babylon's confusion, that confuses the world, that trying to take over the world. I'll cut them off, is what he's saying. And I will also make it a possession for the bitter, the pools of water, and I will sweep it with the basin of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. And the Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand. What? Taking over the world. That I will break the Assyrians in my land and upon my mountains, tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart off him. Listen to this now. And his burden depart from off his shoulder. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon the nations. What hand? The hand of redemption. I'm breaking the yoke from off them. I'm breaking the burden off them. I'm taking the burden off their shoulder. That false religions can receive me. If the falseness of religions can receive God at this time, he's going to preach to the world. His church is going to preach to the world. And the world is either going to receive him or not receive him. But at this time, they have the ability to change from a false religion unto God. Isn't that good news? That's good news. And I believe there's going to be hundreds of thousands receive Jesus Christ as Savior. Millions receive Jesus Christ as Savior. Somebody said that there was going to be a billion converts. That's a lot of false religion. Praise God, he can do it. He can do it. For the Lord of hosts hath purposed it, and who can disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? God's got his hand stretched out and saying, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to judge him. I'm going to bring this thing into the right place it should be. Seed, faith, and harvest is going to take now. This is the time. And I'll judge them that they're wicked and cruel. And I'm going to set them free that are in bondage to false religions. And my people are going to go preach to them. My people are going to be like the gold wafer of Ophir. They're going to go preach to them. They're going to preach a pure word to them. And they're going to set these people free. And anybody that will reach out and grab, he said, I'm stretching out my hand over the land. And anybody that will receive me will be able to receive me. And who can stop it? What a day we're coming into. What a day. Read it. Isaiah 13 and 14. Study it. And it goes along with Joel 2. Joel 2 will show you the power of the church. It's an awesome time. Walk in it. Okay. Bye.